up? It's Miles, and today I'm going to make a video about the 5 things I love most about España. So the first time I came to Spain was in 2013 when I studied abroad for a semester in Madrid. I fell in love with the country and during those 4 months, and I decided that after I graduated I wanted to teach English. I didn't decide I wanted to teach English. I decided that I wanted to get back to Spain, and teaching English was the best way to do it. So last year in 2015, I moved to northern Spain in San Sebastian, specifically to teach English for 9 months, went back home for the summer, and now I'm back again teaching English in southern Spain in Seville. I keep getting confused between Sevilla and Seville. One's English, one's Spanish. Anyway, I'm living in Spain, and hopefully I can do it again next year, maybe in a different location. So I thought, having lived in Spain, I guess it's pretty much a total of 2 years now, I've got a good feel for it. I thought I could kind of share what are some of the most awesome things that you can find here. Just some different stuff that I really love and maybe might inspire you to come visit, live, study here yourself. Without further ado, here are the 5 things that I love most about Spain. The first thing is coffee. I'm a huge coffee drinker. Actually, I'm an addict. I'll just come out with it. I'm a coffee addict. Even in the US, I have a cup a day. I have a really hard time starting my morning without coffee. When I came to Spain, it was great because the coffee here is excellent. The coffee is a lot different than in the US, specifically because they use espresso instead of like our drip coffee, I guess you'd call it in the US. So whereas you'd have like the watered down 7-Eleven coffee, which I love, by the way, really makes me feel at home. You don't really find that here. They make everything out of espresso. So the common drinks you'll get is like a cafe solo, which is just an espresso shot, or you can get a cafe corto, which I think has milk and coffee, and there's a bunch of other stuff. If you want just black coffee in a restaurant or something, or a cafe, you usually have to get a cafe americano, which is just espresso and water. Pretty much every cafe I go to, I really enjoy the coffee. It's super strong. My go-to drink here is an americano. I think I've talked about this before, but even the Starbucks here, in my opinion, is better than the Starbucks in the US. That's because they don't have the typical Starbucks drip coffee, which I do like. I probably drink Starbucks way too much at home too. All the drinks are made with espresso, and they just seem to taste a little bit better, but that could just be my own imagination talking, who knows. So the coffee, if you come to Spain and you're a coffee drinker, enjoy it. I'm sure other parts of Europe have great coffee too, but one of these days I'm going to have to do a coffee tour and find out. So coffee is number 1. Numero dos. My second favorite thing in Spain is the frutarias. Now, you may be asking, what is a fruteria? It sounds like fruit, and it is. It is a fruit store, well, a fruit and vegetable store. Instead of going to a big grocery store like you would in the US, and buying all your stuff together with a fruit section, which they do have here, but they specifically have stores just for fruit. The first time I found out about this fruit store, I went and I bought what seemed like a week's worth of fruit. I'm sure it wasn't that much, for like 10 euros, and I was just blown away. Fruit here, it's cheaper. There's whole stores devoted to it, which, holy crap, a store devoted to fruit. They also have panaderias, which are just bread stores. I like bread a lot, so frutarias, panaderias, basically anything that ends with a ria is pretty awesome in Spain. My third favorite thing is architecture. If you're from the US and you've ever been to Europe, you probably noticed the significantly more beautiful and old classic architecture that you'll find all around Europe. I remember when I first studied in Madrid, I was fortunate enough, our program took us all throughout Spain on different day trips. So I got to see pretty much most of the major cities. Barcelona, I saw all of Basque Country, so San Sebastian, Toledo, I believe, all in Andalusia, where I'm living now. So I got to see a ton, and on these tours, they would give us, tours of the whole city, either through bus or walking. We would get tours of all the major cathedrals. So I got a real good look at all the architecture, and I gotta say I was completely blown away, and to this day I'm flabbergasted. It blows my mind that I can just walk outside of my house for 10, 15 minutes and there's a giant cathedral that was built hundreds of years ago. And this isn't just saying that the cathedrals are the only thing that are beautiful. Even the buildings, it's the little details. You don't really see this kind of stuff in the US because I guess most of it's modern architecture. We also haven't been around for as long as Spain. I'm consistently grateful that I can just walk around and see all this beautiful architecture, whether it's city monuments, statues, the city halls, which they call usually ayuntamientos. Here in Seville specifically, they have what's called Plaza de España, which is a big plaza where I actually had to go do my paperwork, and I'm putting a video on here right now. It's incredible. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. It's got a fountain. It's got little paintings of each of the regions or cities in Spain, like little, not paintings, wall murals, things like that. It's incredible. So if there's no other reason to come to Spain, which I think most people probably come for this, come to see the architecture. It's incredible. You'll fall in love and you'll just be amazed the whole time you're here. The fourth thing I love about Spain is the laid-back vibe. There's definitely a stereotype about Spanish people being very relaxed. They have the siesta, which is the midday nap, and it's kind of true. So some people get kind of offended to this because I think there's also an interpretation that Spanish people are lazy. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just the lifestyle in general is a lot more laid back than what I've seen in the US. There's not that sense of urgency, that rush. You see the same thing when it comes to eating. In the US, we kind of eat on the go a lot, hence all the fast food and things like that. But we don't really have too many meals where we just sit down and enjoy it for 2 or 3 hours. If you go to a restaurant in Spain, you'll have a sit-down dinner and you get that table, it's your table for most of the night. There's no rush. I'm sure we've all experienced when the waitress or waiter comes up and puts the check in front of you and says, they don't say it, but they're pretty obvious they want you to pay and get out of there. I haven't really experienced that in Spain, only in the kind of touristy restaurants. They have just a culture of really enjoying the food. It can be a little bit challenging if you're not from here and you're used to things going like that, but it's definitely, personally, it kind of fits my personality more once I just kind of relax and accept it. There's no rush. I don't feel bad if my bus is late or something like that. And you can see it. The people here, maybe it's just subjective view or something like that, but they don't seem to have that look of stress that I see on a lot of Americans' faces. Not that everyone's happy, looks happy all the time, but there's just a different feel, and I think it's very palpable. I think that's why people like to come on vacation here. The fifth thing that I really love about Spain is the nightlife. The nightlife in Spain, when it comes to bars and clubs and things like that, is a little bit different than in the US. The first difference is everything starts a little bit later here and ends a lot later. A typical night, people will eat dinner around 9, 10 o'clock. They'll eat, have a beer or two, and then they'll hit the bars. The bars usually don't start getting filled up until around 11, 12, and the nights aren't usually over until about 6. The other big difference is the drinking culture in general. I'm no stranger to drinking. I love drinking. But in the US, there's kind of a bit of a binge drinking culture. And at times, it can be not that fun to be around, especially if you're just going out to kind of enjoy yourself. People are just smashed. People drink to get drunk in the US, which I don't see as much here. There's definitely a lot of drunk people, and especially in these bigger cities like Sevilla or Madrid or Barcelona, you get a lot of international students, a lot of people studying abroad. So you definitely see kind of the same behavior. But what I've noticed from Spanish people is that when they go out, they just they take it slower. They go out to really enjoy the night, to meet and talk to friends, to just, they sip their beer. You don't see the chugging. I haven't seen anybody do what's it called? Thing where you do the beer and drink it. God, I look like an idiot. You really don't see the binge drinking, you just see people enjoying their night out. Granted, if you do that for 6 hours straight, doesn't matter how slowly you drink, you're still going to get a lot of drunk people, so it's not like they don't have fun. I would definitely recommend, if you're coming out to study or to live or even vacation, definitely check out the nightlife. You'll enjoy it. In Seville, there's always things going on, literally 7 nights a week. Those are the 5 things I love most about Spain. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you're inspired to come visit at least once in your life and see the things I talked about. And trust me, there's a lot more to Spain than what I just said. These are just my preferences, things that have stood out to me in the time I've been here. So anyway, thank you for watching, and see you soon.